Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're reacting to geography now. India. India is big. Everybody knows India, you know. I don't know what India is known for, honestly. But I used to watch those Indian movies and they had effects and it was cool. That's what I know India for. But yeah, if you're new, you don't forget to like and subscribe and recommend me more videos to react to in the link in the description. And yeah, let's watch.
So, we have finally encroached upon the giant India. Some of you have been waiting a long time for this episode. I'm just gonna say straight up, you all know India is incredibly complex and diverse. Even Indians have trouble understanding their own country. Obviously, I won't be able to scratch even the surface in this
Yeah,
episode.
2
but I'll
billion
try my
people.
best. A lot of you Indian geography peeps have helped me along the way, so thank you. And without further ado, let's begin.
It's time to learn geography
Now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. This place doesn't even need much of an introduction.
Barbie.
It's big,
Barbie,
it's loud,
that's
it's colorful,
funny.
and most importantly, it has a plethora of confusing territorial anomalies that I just can't wait to cover. Here we go. There's an old saying, India is a place
Political.
where everyone is in a hurry, but no one is ever on time. First of all, India is located in South Asia, right on the Indian and Arabian Seas, and the Bay
Yeah,
of
they're
Bengal,
Asian,
bordered by
too.
6 other countries. So close to 7, but that land bridge between Sri Lanka got wiped away like 600 years ago by a cyclone. India is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories, with the capital New Delhi, which acts as its own administrative unit, located in the capital territory. Keep in mind, New Delhi is actually just the name of one of the districts in the capital territory, made up of 11. The largest city, however, is actually Mumbai, with New Delhi, Bangalore, or Bengaluru, and Hyderabad following.
Mumbai is not as
Four busiest
popular, though.
airports are Delhi Indira Gandhi International, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji International, Bengaluru's Kempe Gowda International, and Chennai International in the south. You know why I'm smiling.
Oh,
This is my
this is-
favorite part of any episode we ever make. Territorial anomaly time. India is loaded with strange borders and deliciously complex demarcation lines. First of all, what exactly is a union territory? In the simplest way I can put this, union territories are places that are too distinct to be incorporated into a state, but too small to have their own local governments. The first one, of course, is the Delhi National Capital Territory, where the capital lies. Chandigarh is a post-independent city constructed to replace Lahore as the capital of the Punjab area after
Yeah,
it was split up into...
I'm just gonna be honest, bro. India has so many names in all these states. I will not know a single one of them. I just know Delhi, obviously. Mumbai, I knew, like, it was just not as popular, but I knew it. And some of the other stuff. What other places do I know in India? Nepal, because capital, obviously. But that's about it. The other places are just, you have to live there to know,
India and
I
Pakistan.
guess.
Then you have the island territories, the smallest one, Lakshadweep, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman Islands being home to one of the last uncontacted people groups on the planet, the Sentinelese tribe, whom have been hostile to visitors and are therefore left alone, as well as the Nicobar Islands, which actually used to be a short-lived colony of Denmark. Finally, the 3 remaining territories are former European colony towns and ports. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, which are separated by about 200 kilometers across the Gulf of Khambat, and the most confusing
crazy how
territory,
the
French-speaking
Great Britain
Puducherry,
conquered
which is actually
India
split up
once.
between 4 district cities across India: Karikal, Mahe, Yanaon, and Pondicherry. Pondicherry is strange because it has
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
place within
Mahe.
the Tamil Nadu state. Oh, and in this area, you can also find the experimental hippie-ish commune with a little bit of controversy. Look it up. Oh, and don't forget, here, the eastern states, also known as the Seven Sisters, are connected by this
Bangladesh.
incredibly
Yeah,
narrow
they're right
27
there.
kilometer wide pathway known as the Siliguri Corridor. This pathway is like a crucial artery that completes the India puzzle. Or so you would think.
Dude, how did Great Britain conquer India, bro? Look how big this place is. Like, I just would not let that happen. Like, no. Wow, this is just...
Now let's
This is
discuss
a
the
lot to
juicy
take
stuff. Now,
in.
in the China episode, I already talked about the disputed areas with India, such as Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh. The latter pretty much just belonging to India, as it's almost completely inhabited and operated by Indians. So let's move to the other disputes. Now, as of 2015, the Bangladesh episode is already outdated, as India and Bangladesh have finally come to an agreement over the frighteningly complex former enclave-exclave dispute. In the end, India only lost about 40 square kilometers of land to Bangladesh, and now only a few enclaves and exclaves exist. Now let's head north. Now, when you try to draw the shape of India, you might want to be careful which depiction you use. Some might use this picture, some might use this, some might use this, and those that don't really study very well might use this. The point is, the whole area is like the most heavily militarized, diplomatically stressed out region on the planet. It's already had like 4 wars in the past half century. Basically, India, Pakistan, and to some extent China all want the entire area for themselves, although it's more of like a Pakistan-India thing. In the China episode, we already discussed the Chinese disputes with India, so I won't cover those in this episode. If you want to learn more, just watch the China episode. But anyway, this entire area was a former domain known as the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir that was under royal Maharaja rulers all the way up until independence. Currently, this place is split up by this fenced-off militarized line known as the line of control between India and Pakistan. Why is this? Well, in the quickest way I can put this...
Okay, the British are out. We get to take your land.
No, we want to be an independent princely state.
We're supposed to take your land, and majority of your people are Muslim, just like us, even though your ruler is Hindu as well.
Hey, India?
Yeah?
If you help me, I'll let you secede my territory to your land with autonomy.
Deal.
Ha! Your problem now! I love how Mike played India. He totally represents India.
Oh.
Keep in mind, Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, is less than 80 kilometers away from all that drama.
Yeah, dude, no wonder Pakistan hates India.
AJ9842. This is where things get really crazy, because from there you hit the Siachen Glacier, the second longest non-polar glacier in the world, and this is pretty much the dead man zone. After point NJ9842, you hit the actual ground position line, a series of military outposts that extend all the way to the Chinese border. That means everything in this area is ground zero for the Indo-Pak tension. And you know, the crazy thing is there's actually literally small towns of normal regular civilians living in these areas high up in the mountains, many of which just go about daily life, going to work and raising their families. Otherwise, they have a river dispute with Nepal and various river islands disputed with Bangladesh. Outside of all the dispute stuff though, India not only has the world's second largest road network and 3 of the world's top 10 megacities and their own space program, but they also have a copious abundance of landmarks and notable sites.
I mean, bro, for a country that has more than 2 billion inhabitants, fancy word, I'm just playing, but 2 billion people, bro, I expect stuff like this, or even more, because you're not going to tell me, like, the United States, even though it's more advanced, with 300 million people, can do more. Because, bro, 2 billion people, bro, just, like, put your people to work. Like, just work together and you guys are set. Because you have 2 billion people, bro. 2 billion people with talent. Just, like, scout people, bro. There's that many people. But most like, we're not going to see the poverty parts in this video, I think. It's just showing. Because, bro, 2 billion is a big number. I saw this soccer stadium that had 100,000 people, and I thought it was 1 million. Imagine 2 billion. India is crazy. China and India, what the heck? Oh, they both have 2 billion. I just thought about it. So, oh my, that's a lot of people. That's there's 8 billion people on Earth. Wow. That's just like, that is crazy. That's a fourth of the world in India.
Way too many to list, but some of the ones that you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have told me to mention include places like the abandoned Danushkodi Ghost City, Golconda Fort, the 4 Pillars of Charminar, the Ajanta Buddhist Art Caves, the Ellora Monolithic Ruins, Mandu Fortress, the Golden Temple, which feeds over 100,000 people a day, the Gol Gumbaz Mausoleum, the Kalavantin Durg Post, the ruins of Hampi, the hill forts of Rajasthan, Shatrunjaya Hill, which is basically like a mecca for Jains, the Temple of the Bodhi Tree, Jal Mahal, Bangart Fort, the most haunted place in India, Mahabat Maqbara, and keep in mind, just like in China, you can find a great wall of
I've seen all these in movies.
There's also the Paritala Anjaneya Temple with the largest statue in India depicting Hanuman, and at over 150 acres, the Sri Rangan Attaswamy Temple, the largest.
They made a statue of me already?
Oh, yeah, and there's also that building with the stuff in the thing, whatever. Anyway, we could go on for centuries talking about India's rich, constructed domicile, but what it lies on top of is more fascinating. Now,
tell
don't
us.
make this mistake.
I'm going to India. All I need are my sandals and sunscreen.
Oh, crap. Now, as the 7th largest country in
Really?
land area, India has a wide range of landscapes,
Yeah, I
climates,
think.
and elevations that all contrast from one corner to the other. First of all, let's talk about the north. India sits on the Indian tectonic plate that essentially smashed into the Eurasian plate, which in return created the largest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas. The force is so strong that it's estimated that the Himalayas grow about 2.4 inches or 6.1 centimeters every year. There's also where you can find Kanchenjunga, the tallest mountain in India, or the 3rd in the world, right on the border of Nepal. Keep your eye on these mountains. These are pretty much the source of most of India's major rivers that give life to the whole country. That's why India takes these mountains so seriously. You can also find the largest natural lake, Wular, up in the Jammu Kashmir area. Below the Himalayas, you reach the North Indian River Plain, sometimes referred to as the Indus Ganga. This is the most fertile part of India where the most important rivers like the Ganges and its tributaries flow. Heading a little south, you reach the Satpura and Vindhya ranges that pretty much divide North India from South India. On each side, you get the West and East Ghat Mountains, which in return creates this massive triangle thing called the Deccan Plateau. This place is moderately forested, especially in the east in the Chotra Nagpur Plateau, where you get a section of the swampy Sundarbans that they share with Bangladesh. Check out the Bangladesh episode.
Wow,
Head a
so
little west
many.
and you get the dry Thar Desert along the border with Pakistan, as well as the Rann of Kutch, known as the Salt Desert. And finally, the only active volcanic area would be the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with Barren Island having actual
Wow, it's
volcanic
beautiful,
eruptions and
though.
Baratan having tame mud volcanoes. Now here's the thing, although India has a relatively high population density, they do relatively well with maintaining their ecological footing. In fact, in 2016, they beat a world record by planting, disputably, 50 million trees in one day. They've also agreed to reforest about 12% of their country by 2030. The most heavily forested area being...
Yeah, when you have 2 billion people, you have to do stuff like that.
This would be the fact that India has the lowest meat consumption in the world, with the highest population percentage of vegetarians at around 40%.
Oh, I mean, bro, because they... Oh, 40%, dude, what? Because they worship cows. Is it cows or goats? They worship animals. That's something that I've been hearing a lot. So it makes sense that they're vegetarian. Man, I can't give up meat, bro. I just can't.
Most of whom are lacto-vegetarians that consume milk products. By the way, in India, when buying groceries, this label means vegetarian.
Wait, isn't it?
Means not vegetarian. Nonetheless, the remainder of the population does typically eat some kind of animal protein, mostly in the forms of seafood or chicken, but almost never beef or pork, unless if you are part of the Muslim or Christian minorities scattered throughout the west and east areas. Now, let's talk about the role of cattle, shall we? India has more cattle and livestock than anywhere else in the world at around 330 million. And it's interesting because since they have prevalent Hindu traditions, the killing of cows is illegal in many of the states except for a few, and each state has varying degrees of punishment for committing intentional cow slaughter. Keyword intentional. Cows accidentally get hit by cars all the time. Once a cow is too old to produce milk, it typically is released into the open to die naturally in the wild, ideally. Nonetheless, male cattle get it much worse, as they are deemed as kind of useless. Some places use them as draft animals for labor, some religious sects use them as sacrifices, but otherwise they are typically sold to the underground market for beef or hides. To this day, there are about 6 times as many female cows as male cattle in India, so that means, yeah, something's happening to the males.
Damn, so don't be a male cattle in India. New lesson. What's special about the girls, though? The girl cows? I don't know. But, yeah, see, I told you they consider cows as gods or some sort of stuff like that. Damn, I've been eating beef my whole life, I think. Yeah, I should go buy some cattle
India
from
does
India.
have
They
the
have
3rd
too
highest
much.
carbon emission rate after China and the US, 4th if you consider the EU. However, emission per capita, they rank pretty low at only about 2 kilotons per person. Contrast that with Qatar at about 40. There are 94 national parks, 501 animal sanctuaries across the country where you can find some of the national animals like the peacock, the Ganges River dolphin, the king cobra, the Indian elephant, and the highest population of Bengal tigers in the world, which are all highly protected. India also has the most irrigated land in the world, which allows them to become the #1 producer of multiple products like millet, bananas, lemons, limes, mangoes, ginger, chickpeas, milk, butter, fennel, jute, and about 75% of the world's spices alone come from India. Speaking of which, food!
Oh yeah,
You can
obviously,
find
bro.
staples, roti, chapati, and naan in the north, idli and dosa in the south.
Oh,
and
chapati
everybody
is
eats
good.
rice. The more commonly commercialized
Chapati's
Indian foods that
amazing.
we in the West grew up knowing, like samosas, tikka masala, tandoori's, and my favorite Indian dish, palak paneer. These usually come from the northern regions of India. Seriously, India, you took spinach.
Oh, I was just having the what do you call it? It's called bahatara. Is that how you call bahat? I don't know how you call it. It's like a tortilla though. It was delicious. I want to be Indian when I ate that. I was crazy. It was amazing. Is it bahatara or bahu? So, I don't know. how you
I
pronounce it,
love
but it
you
was
guys.
good.
Otherwise, the West is mostly known for their chutneys and pickled foods, as well as beef, since there's a high number of Muslims and Christians. The South uses a lot more coconut and has some of the best curries like porials, sambras, rasams, and tutus. And the East is known for having the best desserts
Tutu.
like peda, mishti doi, rasgulla, or shondesh.
I don't
Speaking
know
of
a
which, India is so
single
diverse
one
and
of these.
complex that sometimes even Indian people need translators when going to different states. It's about to get 10 times more confusing in about 3, 2, 1.
Really?
Shashti Tharoor once said,
Oh.
in India, we celebrate the commonality of major differences. We are a land of belonging rather than blood. First of all, India has a population of about 1.3 billion people and is the second most populous country in the world after China with about
Now it's
80%
2 billion.
population. About 72% of the country is Indo-Aryan and a quarter are Dravidian, and the majority of the remainder are Mongoloid, Asian, and other people groups. They also use the Indian rupee as their currency. They use the type C, D, and M plug outlet.
Gandhi's on one of those? What? I didn't know Gandhi was that big. I only thought he was just like an active. Yo, I have a night. Now I want to be an activist because, like, when something happens to you, they put you on money. Imagine a bill with my face on it. I know people would love some bills with me on them. I should be an activist, but I don't know for what. I don't know. We'll
They
work
drive
on
the
that.
left side of the road. By the way, technically it's illegal for these banknotes to leave the country, but you guys have sent me a lot of them for fan mail for Fan Friday videos, so I don't want to go to jail. Again. Now keep in mind, those statistics that I just mentioned are incredibly
Again.
generalized. Of the Indo-Aryan and Dravidian communities, there are about 2,000 different ethno-linguistic people groups in India with about 645 district indigenous tribes, 52 major ones. So obviously we can't cover them all, but what we do know is that the North is very different from the South. For one, the North mostly speaks in languages that are all related to the Indo-Aryan branch, with languages like Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and Gujarati, whereas the South speaks a completely unintelligible Dravidian branch with languages like Tamil, Telugu,
Tamil.
Malayalam, and Kannada. Otherwise, there's also pockets of Sino-Tibetan and Austroasiatic languages spoken in the far north and east.
Wait, so how do they all, like, communicate with each other?
Great question. Although India does not have an official
Translate.
language, there are 22
Google
recognized national
Translate.
languages, and of these, 2 are the most
Hindi.
prevalent, taught in schools and used by government officials, Hindi and English. And very often, these two are like mixed
Whoa.
mid-sentence. It's weird. Don't be surprised if you hear someone speaking Hindi and then suddenly finishing off in English. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, the movies.
And I was like trying to, like, why are you even trying to do that?
I know, right? And the washing machine, I told them, a Bob Saget with a chainsaw. Now, of course, let's discuss the
Oh, this
one thing
guy's
that goes
Indian?
hand in hand with India, Hinduism. About 80% of India claims to be Hindu, or at least part of the Hindu practicing community. Now, we don't have time to explain everything about the tenets and multi-layered philosophies and practices of Hinduism. If you want to know, just talk to a Hindu person. But basically, one thing you do need to know is that Hindu-driven ideologies pretty much dominate most of life in India, everything from family to business. You will see colorful, mesmerizing shrines, temples, statues, and rituals being performed everywhere.
Ooh. Yeah. I've seen that elephant statue. There's this kid that was born with a tail in India, and they worship him because they think he's a sent, like he's a God sent breed or species, I guess. But yeah, Indian people, man, these guys, I like them. I like them.
Even in public. On the Bharat Mata, the Mother of India, statues are everywhere. She's like the symbol of India. The largest Hindu pilgrimage, the Kumbh Mela, happens every 3 years, rotating between 4 cities, in which the adherents bathe in the Ganges.
Kumbh
It's a
Mela.
massive festival with tens of millions of people. Like, seriously, you can practically see it happening from space. Now, a controversial topic in relation to Hinduism would be the caste system, which is basically a belief that people are born into a
Oh, that
socioeconomic life
stuff.
they are destined to serve into. Today, however, the system is more fluid and loose from what it used to be from a long time ago. And thanks to economic reforms, anybody with enough drive can kind of move up the social ladder regardless of birth. Nonetheless, India is home to every
That stuff
major
still
religion in the
happens?
world, even a few Jews, including the B'nai Menashe, an indigenous group that claimed to be one of the lost tribes of Israel. In fact, Judaism and Christianity actually had a head start in India way before it even kicked off in Europe. As tradition holds, Cochin or Malabar Jews migrated around 1000 BC to trade during the times of King Solomon, and in 53 AD, Thomas the Apostle of Jesus arrived in what is now the state of Kerala to establish the first church in India. Today, most Christians are found in the southwest and far east Seven Sisters regions. India also holds
Yeah, I'm
the highest
Christian.
population of Sikhs, Jains, and Zoroastrians, mostly found in the north, and the second largest Muslim population
I
in the
don't-
world after India.
Was that the Nazi
Are
symbol?
found in the
Hold
southwest
on.
and far east Seven Sisters regions. India also holds the highest population of Sikhs, Jains, and Zoroastrians.
That looks like the Nazi symbol. I don't know what that
It's
stuff
mostly
is.
found in the north, and the second largest Muslim population in the world after Indonesia. Most Muslims are populated around the northwest areas by
Pakistan.
Pakistan or in the east by Bangladesh.
I
Oh,
think
don't forget the
90%
Buddhists. In
of
fact,
Pakistan
Buddhism
is
actually
like
started
Muslim.
in India. Today, the Dalai Lama even takes refuge in Tezpur in the state of Assam. Oh, that was a lot of information. Ah! Okay, so by now you can probably get a grasp
is a
of how
lot.
incredibly mixed and diversified India's population is. But what exactly holds
Hinduism.
the country together? Well, for one, you kind of have to understand Indian history, which will take way too long to explain. But in the quickest way I can put it, Indus Valley, Maurya and Gupta empires, southern empires, Golden Age, Middle Kingdoms, a ton of new religions come flocking in. The north fell to the Delhi Sultanate. The south became the Vijayanagara Empire. The Mughal Empire starts. British East India Company.
Oh, this thing. Oh, I learned about this in school. Man, I've been learning about India
Direct
so
British rule,
much
nationalist movements,
recently.
independence, republic, economic liberalization in 1991, and here we are today.
Vijaya.
Essentially, India used to be made up of around 500 smaller royal princely states, and when the British came in, they kind of exploited them to manage such a huge population. Although India is a democratic federal republic and the largest democracy in the world, the old royal families still exist today, and although they have no political power, they hold high positions of influence in their communities across India. So today, technically, you could meet someone that would be considered an Indian prince or princess. Nonetheless, the biggest thing that really united Indians in the past 2 centuries would probably be their hatred of British rule. It was kind of like,
Well, this is not cool.
yep.
What do you say you and I work together and end this thing?
Dude, I'm still shocked at the fact that India was ruled by Britain, you know. I mean, it's not really shocking, but come on. It just blows my mind how the UK did it. But hey, they did what they did, huh? But that caste system, I forgot what I was about to say, but now I just remembered. That's so like crazy, because like I heard the people with the darker skin would be most likely like to be in the lower caste. So if you were like whiter, you're up there in a way. Man, I don't like systems, and they still have it. I thought it would be gone because it's 2022. Oh. Man, countries are so special and diverse. I wonder what caste I would be in. Is that like, I wonder what caste I'd be in. The lower caste, bro, ooh. I don't even want to talk about the stuff they did to those guys. Poor souls.
Essentially, one good thing you could say that came out of imperialism was that it kind of stopped all the internal squabbling and unified the groups towards one common goal: to get rid of imperialism. Today, Indians are just proud to be Indian. I mean, a Tamil soccer player can get cheered on by a Rajasthani. A Punjabi pop star can sell out tickets in Orissa. Speaking of which, all Indians love movies and music. India has the second largest film industry in terms of volume, pumping out nearly 2,000 films
Bollywood,
per
bro.
year.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
I've watched.
Nigeria pumps
Yeah.
out more. However, the box office revenues gross out at only about $2 billion annually compared to Hollywood at over $10 billion. But still, it's impressive. And keep in mind, it's not just Bollywood, but it's also
No, I watch
Tollywood,
Indian movies. I
Gollywood,
love
Hollywood,
those.
Pollywood, and so on. There's like 20 different woods in India. Oh, and like every movie in India has at least one scene where everybody breaks out in song, and there's almost always a happy
And
ending.
sings,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
India has also put an aesthetic strain on many of the people, as it's almost become an obsession to be light or fair-skinned, causing people to go so far as to buy skin-aging products. Some other controversies include things like illiteracy being an issue in many parts of the country, especially in the rural areas. But I mean, come on, when your country
Dude,
has
I'm
literally
black.
hundreds of
I
different
don't
writing
wanna lighten
systems,
my
go figure. I
skin.
mean, give them a break. Also, many of you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have asked me to bring awareness to the fact that India does unfortunately have some of the highest rates of human trafficking and child slavery. The government is trying to crack down and
Oh, yeah,
slavery
yeah.
reform, but for now,
There's
it's a
2
sad
billion
reality
people,
that still
bro.
does exist. Hey, here at GN, we talk about the good and the bad. I'm just saying. Otherwise, sports do definitely tie
Right.
everyone together as well, especially cricket, the national sport. Even though they also used to do really well in field hockey, India also has a lot of their own indigenous sports like
Cricket.
Kel in Assam, bull racing in Kerala, Insuknar, rod pushing.
You know, my logic right now, the way I'm thinking about things is like, since India has like 2 billion people, or whatever, 1 point, whatever you call it, they should be able to like produce talent. Like when you have that many people, you just like, man, if I was the president, I'd be like obsessed with stuff like that, because you have that many people, bro. You should be shining in everything. If you're not cheating, you're not doing it right. Start looking for talent.
And Malakamba, this strange pole yoga gymnastics thing in the south. Otherwise, some notable people from India or of Indian descent might include people like Siddhartha Gautama or the Buddha, Mahavir, Ashoka the Great, Prithviraj Chauhan, Aurangzeb, Shivaji of the Maratha Empire, Mohandas or Mahatma Gandhi,
Oh, these guys.
Indira Gandhi,
Oh yeah, I know him.
Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Rabindranath Tagore, C.V.
Oh yeah, I know Nehru too.
Satyendranath Bose, Bhagat Singh,
But everybody
Dr.
else, I
APJ
don't know.
Abdul Kalam, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Priyana Chopra, Ben Kingsley.
I know all these guys.
Satya Narayana Nadella, A.R. Rahman,
They
Sachin
really-
Tendulkar, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Bro,
There's also
Indians are
literally millions of
smart
other famous
as
people I missed
hell.
out on. If you want to mention them, please, there's a comment section below. Use it. In the meantime, we got to finish this info marathon, shall we? Now, no surprise, India
Let's
is
end
huge
it.
and therefore has a huge international outreach when it comes to diplomacy to almost everyone except their immediate neighbors. First of all, countries with large population percentages of Hindus and Indians like Fiji, Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Mauritius, and Malaysia typically stay close to India's roster of go-to friends. They enjoy cordial relations with trade. Now, the UK may have left on a sour note, but they still have a lot of ties to their former colonizer in terms of business and tourism. India is still part of the Commonwealth, not Commonwealth realm, there's a difference, and the UK has over 1.5 million citizens of Indian descent. As mentioned in the China episode, China is kind of like India's "I'm only here to do business with you and nothing else" friend, as drama still hasn't subsided in regards to the territory conflicts. Now, when it comes to the US, things started kind of sour back in the 70s during the Indo-Pak War of 1971, when the US sided with Pakistan, their arch nemesis. Today, relations have cooled off. Mostly, the US supports India's move towards democracy and is a key ally in the military conflicts in the Middle East. When it comes to their best friends, however, most of the Indians I talked to have said Russia and Bhutan. Russia because during the Indo-Pak Wars, Russia came in and supported them, and ever since then, each country has held a high position of respect for the other, especially as global superpowers. Bhutan and India signed a treaty of friendship almost immediately after independence. The two countries have shared interests and a currency-pegged system as well. Bhutan even supported the annexation of their cousins in the Sikkim state into India, as it gave a nice buffer of land from China's stake to their claim. In conclusion, you will not find anywhere else on Earth like India. Thousands and millions of people inhabiting a colorful, majestic, green, slightly...
You mean billions?
Earth, blessed and cursed in so
Say
many ways,
billions.
yet wonderfully harmonized, mostly in a unity unlike anywhere else. In the end, that's India. Stay tuned, Indonesia.
India, man. Some good stuff right there. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you and have a nice day.